Hey guys, what's up? It's your boy, the Knight of Justice, back again with another power scaling video. In this video, I'll be doing my very first Dragon Ball's power scaling. And in this power scaling, we will be power scaling Demigra, the Demon God. Now we'll be covering both Demigra's Xenoverse feats and Heroes feats in this video, and a couple of his hacks, and a little bit of his lore. But if you're new to the channel, please like, share, and subscribe, and also comment down below. And hit the notification button to stay tuned for more videos in the future. With that out of the way, let's get into it. 75 million years ago, Demigra was a wizard in the heavenly realm who worked alongside Kronika in raising Toki Toki. However, he was also an underling of Kronika's rival Metricabora and began plotting. He stated subtly to research using Toki Toki in a council caused the time-space distortion. Kronika noticed that he was acting strange and went to oppose his plan and stop him. Demigra and his two wizard allies fought Kronika directly, but were defeated and his plans were exposed. Along with many evil wizards, including Metricabora, Demigra was imprisoned in a space in which he and his other wizards transformed into the demon realm. Prior to becoming a demon god, Demigra was a part of the Dark Empire, serving directly under Metricabora, but left it to propose his own goals. Eventually, thanks to his ambitions, he tried to take over the Time Vault and kidnap Toki Toki. However, Kronika managed to stop him and seal him away in the crack of time while trapped in there throughout many years. Eventually, Demigra broke up his powers and gathered enough ki to become a demon god. Eventually, Demigra built up his magical power and gathered enough ki to become a demon god. Demigra's personality is what we can best describe as a god complex, posing as an unshaken belief that he is the almighty God who deserves to rule over all time and space, referring to being not bound by the laws of the universe, nor yield to the true rule or guardian, and wants to be the true guardian of time and space. The Supreme Kai, as he believed himself to be more deserving of the role than Kronika. As a result, he is proud, arrogant, and self-ignorance, enjoying toying with his enemies. Despite admitting he is a demon, calling he is himself a demon god, he truly believes and exalts that his true destiny is divinity. Due to this time spent in prison at the crack of time, he has become extremely patient and extremely tenacious, something he is quite proud as he solidly tries to spoil future Trunks for the mere sanction in giving the hero and the time patrollers so much trouble in his time in Xenoverse and also within Heroes. Demigra is a force to be reckoned with and not to be underestimated, which is why we want to see just how powerful he truly is. Now, like I said, some of Demigra's feats take place in both Heroes and Xenoverse, so we'll cover them accordingly. First, let's start with Xenoverse. This is like the most well-known game. In Xenoverse, Demigra's main goal was to absorb Toki Toki and become the master of all time and space, along with remaking history into his own image. After absorbing Toki Toki, Demigra said he controls all of time and space and was going to create a new multiverse or new history in his image. But before we cover Demigra's scaling, let's go into a little bit of the cosmology just so you have a basic idea just how incredible these feats are that Demigra has performed. For starters, it is directly stated that history takes up infinite number of paths or infinite possibilities, and you lost track in which the correct version is supposed to be. Now, history actually is referring to like timelines and those infinite numbers of paths or possibilities taking place. As you can see here, even the next pack is called Infinite History Pack, which also in fact goes back to the time patrollers stating that history being infinite. Now, some people may say particularly that if possibilities doesn't exist, even if 16 confirms they do. However, in Heroes, Chronica says that possibilities are overflowing. Now we can go beyond the infinite timelines into higher dimensions, such as the crack of time and the real world. The crack of time is stated to be an enclosed space separate from the dimension of time. It also states the place that he was beyond time and space, meaning that the crack of time is space, like a dimension that's beyond time and space, or a regular fourth dimensional multiverse. So you could say like 5D for this place, for the crack of time. Now the Time Patrol is also stated to be an extra dimensional being, which means he comes from a dimension beyond ours. We live in a 3-dimensional, spatial, and 1 temporal. Sounds familiar, right? And before anyone says he is just from another universe and not actually a higher dimension, first off, the definition for another universe beyond ours is an extraterrestrial, not extra dimensional, which is beyond our own. 16 states he is already an extraterrestrial and couldn't find him in the database. Then when want to say that he is possibly extra dimensional, so he is in fact 5D, like the crack of time. The real world is a different dimension / world, a dimension that views Dragon Ball Heroes as fiction, or the real world views the Dragon Ball Heroes verse as a lower dimension in its own, for simple terms. Now let's get into Demigra scaling. For Xenoverse, as I said before, Demigra did absorb Toki Toki, and Toki Toki is stated to be a being who embodies time, controls all of time and space. He is responsible for the existence of all dimensions. So after Demigra absorbed Toki Toki, he was going to destroy all of history and recreate it in his own image, as well as destroying the time vault. There have been numerous statements interacting with countless timelines, as well as ones interacting with existence of timelines, point in history and possibilities which pose their own flow of time-space and have no effect on history itself. Chronica states that Demigra Rap's time was going to destroy all of history, everything that have been created in his own image, and create his own multiverse, where he was the god of his own multiverse. After turning into his basically giant demon form when he went into the crack of time, Demigra became more powerful than before. With this battle between himself and the future warrior, in addition with Super Saiyan 3 Goku, if the conditions are met, caused the crack of time, which happens in the crack of time, and it encompasses a space separate from the dimension of time, in which the Dragon Ball history can be viewed as a 4th dimensional crystal to crumble within. This will put Demigra very high into Multiversal Plus or 2A, as we deduce that the crack of time is basically another set of Dragon Ball history, while new timelines are constantly being formed by the smallest of things, despite the change across the present universes, and a concept that can be inherited in the video games. Moreover, Demigra was then stated multiple times to transcend space and time, making him fully capable of destroying all of this if he chose to. Well, which he was going to, but he was stopped by your main character and Goku if it was met by the right conditions. Going off of this, Demigra will be very high into Multiversal Plus to 2A to 5D, scaling off of these feats off of Dragon Ball Xenoverse. Now into Dragon Ball Heroes. Demigra transcends space in the Dragon Ball Heroes multiverse and the crack of time. This makes Demigra at least low complex multiversal for transcending a 4th dimensional multiverse and the crack of time, which is a higher dimensional space. They transcended to the real world, which is as shown to be an alternate dimension that is viewed the Dragon Ball multiverse as fiction. So in summary, an alternate dimension that was reached by transcending the space above another multiverse in a higher dimension. By the way, Demigra did this in his base form. Kamel gained the power from Demigra, and with his presence alone was going to collapse the multiverse, the crack of time, and the real world at once again would be at least low complex multiversal. A pretty impressive feat by Demigra. Demigra had to transcend space and the multiverse as a whole in order to access the real world. In addition, the civilians of said world are required to generate avatars through the use of Hero Switch in order to interact with the video game world, as the higher dimensional entities are normally incapable of directly interacting with lower dimensions. Also stole the power of Toa, who can create dimensional doors powered by Dark Key, which also transcends space and the multiverse as a whole. In the Nintendo Switch version of Super Dragon Ball Heroes, transcending into the real world is referred to as being overcoming the boundaries between dimensions. Overloaded the multiverse in which flowing possibilities when the number of existing worlds and possibilities was stated to be infinite on multiple occasions. He also bestowed his powers to Kamel, whose mere presence was collapsing the real world. Later in the series, he later assisted the Time Patrollers in the war against the Dark Emperor, and should be superior to Romer, who deflected a Kamehameha wave from Xenogoku, and directly that he has gotten much more powerful than when he previously fought him. Should be superior to Sandel, who can be formed as an destroy extra-dimensional space. Not to mention that even Xenogoku transcended the entire Dragon Ball multiverse and the crack of time and reached the real world at one point, and Demigra was scaled to him and the other people who scale off of Goku. So this would mean that Heroes Demigra would at least be 2A or Multiversal Plus, 2 low complex multiversal, scaling off of these feats. Now to go into one of my favorite parts about a character, hacks and ability. Demigra has mind control and mind control immunity. The only way to protect yourself from this is either have God Key or get it beat out of you. He can use this while dead apparently. He can also move across the multiverse after death and make wormholes that can cause confusion throughout time and space. The dark energy wrapped and transcended the real world, the Dragon Ball Heroes world, which would include the space above the multiverse. In Xenoverse, he can control over wrapping all of space and time, which is infinite. In Xenoverse, he destroyed the history and said he was going to create his own image, history in his own image. In Dragon Ball Heroes, he said he can erase the world and spin a new history which he can rule, and everyone and everything will be reborn. So you can say probably conceptual destruction off of this. He also has power null immunity. He can summon people across space and time easily. Toa and Demigra's dark energy negates your power so much that you can't use your ki or magic and needs the energy from others characters to be a simple Cyberman. He can also create phantoms that have the same powers as him, can absorb energy and life energy. They can take on life of their own if Demigra dies. He can absorb and dominate your life energy. Demigra says that the dark energy is damage energy generated in battle. It was a mistake to bring Goku and Vegeta here, and he can absorb it if he chose to. He can also throw timelines. Demigra can seal the time patrol in a space-time, and time has been erased. Chronica even says that they were also erased with this. So you could possibly say sealing and existence erasure. He also has time travel, of course. He also has the boiling breath. Demigra's breath breathes a cloud of electrical darkness. In Dragon Ball Heroes, if you're being hit by this, your powers go down. He also has his bloody sauce. Demigra launches 5 dark energy balls that poison and slow you down. Demigra also has a technique called time shackles that traps the person in a void and he can absorb them and their powers. It's possible that things can be erased when using this. As he says, I'll purify you and your history while using it. So yeah, Demigra is a very powerful individual. He should at least be in Xenoverse, low, like at least Multiversal Plus and 5D. And in Heroes, he should at least be, Multiversal Plus to low compass Multiversal. But with that out of the way, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you like the video, please hit like, share, and subscribe. And also comment down below. We are so close to 1,000 subs, and we were almost there. I hope this video actually helps with getting us another step closer to 1,000 subs. But like I said, if you're new to the channel, hit like, share, and subscribe. And also comment down below. And if you're like a veteran of the channel, spread this channel around so we can get more subs and more videos out for you guys to watch in the future. But with that out of the way, I will see you guys next time. Peace.